Hello everyone, welcome to the Aging Journey podcast. Today we are going to be playing a new game for Halloween, so happy Halloween everyone. And it is going to be called The Mystery of the Witch. You can't see it, but I did fun spooky hands. This will be a one-shot using kids on bikes. Our players are preteens living in 1990s America. They are hoping to wrap up a meeting of the Mystery Club, so that they can enjoy Halloween night. The Mystery Club in this town is the first of its kind. Our players are kind of junior investigators who are fairly successful, kinda, at solving mysteries in their neighborhood. However, all is not what it seems. Donnie Harlow, the Mystery Club president, seems to have a case that needs an emergency meeting on Halloween night. Seems like something's up in town, and even though it's supposed to be the best Halloween in years that this neighborhood has seen, the sanctity of the Mystery Club must come first. Let's say hello to our players.
Hello, hello, I am Notquietnormal, and I will be playing Daniel's Teeth.
Hello there, I'm Static Velocity, and I'll be Layla a la carte.
Hi, I'm Pan, and I will be playing Kimberly Grace Stevens, or as she is known, Darkness, or Ness to her friends.
So I kind of put this in the channel, but the vibe is fun 90s, spooky, but like fun spooky Halloween. So you don't have to worry about like deaths or
PG-13.
What was that?
PG-13.
Oh, PG-13.
Okay,
Yes,
everybody,
yeah.
decide now who's claiming the F-bomb for this episode. You can only have one.
Oh.
Now, PG-13 in terms of content, in terms of like what's going to be in the game, I don't necessarily care like what type of language you guys use, but in terms of like the content, there's not going to be like there's not even going to be, as I'm like looking at the scenario, it's not even going to be like any actual harm that happens to anybody. So it's a very family friendly scenario, which I do not usually write. So but it was fun. Really, it's very much the examples I gave of like Harriet the Spy and The Big Green, and those are movies like from my childhood of like, you know, just like being an adventurous kid in the 90s, and you know, the heyday of Halloween.
Yay.
You know. Okay, so if that's all, a couple of things that might come up are kitschy Halloween decorations, like skeletons and tombstones on like a lawn, spooky houses that look abandoned, creepy kind of creepy people that seem creepy anyway. It's kind of like anything like a child would potentially imagine that 90% of the time isn't actually true, is what you'll experience in this game, if that makes sense. There's not even gonna be like injuries, blood, like this. It's extremely mild.
Disney Channel special, I got you.
Literally, this is Halloween Town type of
Halloween Town.
Good. And then there might be like spiders or insects, but they'll be fake type of situation. Anything
Not
else?
even real spiders? Come on.
I mean, unless you want to have like a pet spider that you carry around with you.
I definitely have a pet spider, but I don't carry it around because they're very delicate.
That's a good point. And then what else? And then we won't even really be exploring like your families, so there won't be any like, you know, exploring any type of like toxicity and like families or anything like that. This will really be a one shot about the kids, them trying to enjoy Halloween, going to a mystery club meeting that they kind of want to get over so that they can enjoy Halloween, and then being pulled into this mystery. You can't see me, but I'm waving my hands spookily.
we could picture it.
Dun.
We are going to start world building. So on the text channel, I have a bunch of stuff here, but the very first thing we need to decide is, what is this place called? In my head, it's very much like literally Halloween Town. So like a, it's fall, the leaves are falling, so they have like a fall weather. It's like a smaller town where like trick-or-treating is like, pretty normal and fun, and almost everyone participates type of situation. So what do we want to call it? I heard Townville. Anything else? It could be Townville.
Cityville.
Oh, there we go. No, that one's not trademarked.
Oh, fair enough.
And it is technically like the neighborhood. So imagine the neighborhood of
like
like
the
a
suburb.
Suburban area. Yeah.
What do we think of like Elm Heights?
Ooh.
Oh, I like it.
I'm good with it.
Elm Heights. I think that's good. We don't need to spend, too much time on these because this is a one shot, but it's fun to still do the character and world building together. Okay, Elm Heights. So you are all a part of the Mystery Club, and I will tell you right now that the Mystery Club was started by Donnie. And you're all in. Yes, and you're all in. You wouldn't have known it to see him. No. I think you're all in middle school, and so we'll say Donnie started this like his first year, like straight out of elementary, when he went to middle school, and so he's been the president for 2 years or probably something like that, and you all joined at different times. But in general, like, what type of things does the Mystery Club tend to investigate?
I feel like we're the Scooby-Doo gang, right? We just whatever seems spooky and weird.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong now.
Yeah, like missing this, or there's a creepy house on the street, or nobody's seen Mrs. Andrews for a day.
Love it.
A whole day is really out of character
It's
for her.
a
She just
long
walks the
time.
town all the time.
Yeah, she yells from her porch at us, and if she's not, that's weird.
We know
At
something's wrong.
4:14, she is always at the porch requesting the newspaper, and she wasn't there last week, so she must be somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
She must be dead.
Of course, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
She must be dead. We gotta go in, purge any spooks and ghosts. It's just the job.
Mm-hmm.
We must commune with her spirit. Let me get the stage out.
See.
Like she's not even like missing or lost. She is already dead.
She goes on vacation. We're like, she's dead. Time to clean out the ghost.
Yeah.
She shows up again. We're convinced it's
She
a zombie.
comes home in the middle of our seance being like, hello?
Do we get in trouble a lot for stuff like this? Do we just show up at people's houses?
Probably.
For sure.
And that's a great question.
I think at least once a month we have to have a talk with some local law enforcement about breaking and entering.
Love that.
Like, private property has these posted signs on it, kids, for a reason.
But I mean, she was dead, right? So we have to go and see.
And now
Right.
she's alive, so honestly,
And now-
we should be getting medals.
We brought her back, clearly.
That's exactly what happened. Okay. It kind of sounds like you've already answered this. What is it? Third question, which is, does the Mystery Club ever cross a line?
Oh, yes. I was gonna say, in Donnie's backpack, doesn't he have a lockpicking kit? It just makes a lot of sense.
We will talk a little bit about Donnie. He's a straight laced person actually, so he actually wouldn't have one. Okay, so I already kind of told you that.
Happy to borrow it.
Yeah.
Donnie started the Mystery Club. And we'll say it's been around for a couple of years, like, 3 years maybe.
Are we the first wave of people, or have there been people in the club before us?
I am gonna say, and I'm kind of making Donnie up, but I also do have an idea of the type of president, at least he is, because he's, I had to write him in the scenario. But Donnie is, I think, someone who really wants a committed team, to the really wants to buy in, because he is fully there, and so I think he keeps firing people or sacking people or maybe even having the administrator email, or not email, but print off letters
severance
of
letter.
Yeah,
yes, I am more than willing to write up a letter and fire people.
Yeah. So when we get to the next question, well, I guess we're already there, but the next question is basically asking when you guys joined, and you can join at different times and have been there at different time frames. So let's start with normal. Daniel, how long has Daniel been a member of the Mystery Club?
How long do you think it would have taken him before he realized he needed someone to run admin? And then I feel like he spent a long time trying to find someone, and then Daniel just ended up being it because he was the only person who wanted to, or just he could get Daniel, so he did. Yeah,
I think the very first time Donnie made the club, started recruiting people, he went through an administrator a week because he just couldn't get what he was looking for. So if you've been there for a long time, he finally settled on you, and you've been there for a year, that'd be impressive.
I feel like he's been. I'm willing to fire people for him, so I stick around. You gotta keep things. You need a strong hand.
We'll say you've been here for a year, and we'll have that be the person who's been there the longest.
Yes.
So, Static, how long has Layla been with the Mystery Club?
I think probably not particularly long, maybe 3-ish months. I think she moved to town fairly recently and immediately found the crew that would support her potentially mad scientist ideals of proving the existence of cryptids or making science, fix the errors of not creating them in the first place.
Yeah, makes sense. And then Ness.
So, I have a feeling that my character was friends with Donnie back before middle school and was just kind of around, and eventually he was you just hang out here anyway. Be the vice president of the club. She wasn't on purpose in the club. She just hung out.
So when do you think you were officially the vice president? So you may have been around the club even before it was started, but when do you think you actually put you in that position?
I feel like a while ago at this point. But a while ago for kids is not that long. So
yeah,
not as long. I haven't been in an elected position as long as Daniel has been, but nearly that long. So let's say 9 months I've been VP.
I like that. Yeah, because Daniel probably works over the summer, because he would.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So then, starting again back up at the top, you kind of talked a little bit about your first interaction with like the mystery club in terms of joining, but like what's your first interaction in terms of like learning about the mystery club, Daniel?
I think I saw like more a wanted poster on like one of the cafeteria's like walls, like looking for administrator, must be able to do blah 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 blah, and I was like, oh, okay, sure. And then I just went over and
So
slapped down a notebook.
About what they did?
Yeah.
Love it.
They just need paperwork. I slapped down a notebook and just opened my notes of like meticulously written down like schedules and stuff. I was like, there you go. You need one?
Perfect. Okay. Layla.
I think she accidentally crashed a mystery or an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
There was let's say a missing dog that she was convinced had become a chupacabra. And was trying to find proof of it. And ended up stumbling into the mystery club and then just kind of decided she was part of it.
Love that. And then Ness, again, you kind of already said that you knew about the mystery club when Donnie started it, but what was your internal like interaction when you became the VP? Like what made you want to do that?
I didn't. Donnie was like, you're here all the time. You have more hours than me. You're the VP now. And I was like, okay. I was more of like, I feel like Donnie is my friend because I'm sort of like his bodyguard type person. And since I'm with him every day all the time anyway, he was like, you're vice president now. I don't care.
Oh, are you his Watson?
Am I his what?
Yeah,
His
I think
Watson.
you are. That is exactly what you are to Donnie. You are 100% Donnie's Watson.
Yes, I am. I'm
the
the big, dumb, punchy person.
Okay, we're actually going to skip the next question because I want us to think about that on a bit, which is your very first mission altogether. So like when you all were a group. So kind of like think about that as we go through the other ones, and we'll come back to that. But for the one that I want to talk about, I'm gonna skip Ness because you already said you guys are BFFs. But Layla and Daniel, how do they feel about Donnie? Do they like him? Do they like him as a president?
I mean, he's fine. He can forget some things. I kind of have to be on him, fill out that paperwork, please. But he's fine.
Yeah.
He's a little bit uptight and needs to relax, but he's a good enough leader. I mean, leaders have to be kind of uptight.
And then Ness, I know you've been friends with him for a while, but how do you feel about him being president?
She doesn't follow authority well. So she's not like, he's the boss. She's more like, he's the dumb idiot I have to follow around, or otherwise he'll get punched by somebody.
Gotcha. Last one is, so I talked a little bit just in the scenario that there's two main NPCs, and then you guys can make up any other NPCs as you go about the game. But the two main ones that are already established are Miss Kerrigan, who you know is going to have a really cool haunted house this year, and of course Donnie. So I kind of told you a little bit about Donnie's personality that I've kind of come up with, but in terms of like what the neighborhood looks like, and how they feel about the mystery club, I feel like you guys also talked a lot about that in terms of like you tend to get in trouble a lot, particularly by the police. But instead of just Miss Kerrigan and Donnie, what does the neighborhood think about you, the mystery club?
I mean, the cool people in the neighborhood love us, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And how many are those?
Yeah, I think it varies. Yeah, maybe between 2 to 5.
Okay.
There's probably like 2 to 5 houses that think, oh, they're just messing around, and there's like 4 to 6 who are just like, this. They keep breaking in. Stop them, please.
I feel like our parents are like, oh man, I'm so glad my child has a group of friends. That's amazing. Never thought it would happen. And then everybody else in the neighborhood is like, why? Why are they here?
Please keep them out of the garden.
Yeah.
I feel like the locksmiths really like us because they keep having to change people's locks.
Oh yeah, we keep them in business.
Like, we
Love that.
definitely get, like, Christmas cookies from them every year.
Perfect. And then last question before we go back to discussing your first mission. None of you will have a phone because this isn't today.
This is the 90s.
Right? This is a time where kids didn't have cell phones. So none of you have a phone. This is a time frame where, you know, there are ways that you can find a phone, and then there's still phone booths on the street. But like, what's the protocol? Like, what's the plan when things hit the fan? When like you guys either are in a position where you need adult help?
So I hadn't thought about this because Donnie's wealthy. At least it says so on his thing. And I had the idea that my mom is like a single mom. So I think she's kind of like a housekeeper. So Donnie's house would be where we run to because either my mom will be there or his parents will be there. And also it's a wealthy house. So we could probably set the alarm if we need to.
So the plan is to run to Donnie's house?
I feel like that'd be the safest place. Like, if we're running away from something, like if stuff has really hit the fan, we can go to Donnie's house. Because
Do we have any like allies with the law, or are we more like if we see cops, we just scatter? Did we just hop on the bikes and go?
oh, absolutely. I don't want to get talked to by them again.
Okay. So run to Donnie's house, avoid the police. Anything else?
Can Donnie have, like, a little garden shed turned detective headquarters in his backyard?
Do you want that to be the place you guys go to in an emergency?
That could be a good place to go to. Because, like, it's technically still Donnie's house, so we're in proximity to adults if we need them, but it's still our place.
Okay. I will say 2 things to that. Great idea. However, I will say that no one goes into Donnie's backyard.
Oh.
Oh.
What's he hiding? What is he hiding?
And you guys will have a clubhouse, which you'll create in game, that you use regularly. Yeah, it just won't.
It's just a room. It's just his living room.
Okay. So run to Donnie's house. Avoid the police. That's the protocol.
Yeah.
I feel like we've mapped out, or at least Daniel's mapped out, like 4 different routes to take, and like varies them every time.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got like, okay, if we're in this neighborhood, we go through this route or this route. If we're in this neighborhood, you take this route or this route. If you're in this neighborhood, and so on and so forth.
So everyone has like a little pocket emergency plan.
Oh yes. He's definitely written up like 5 different notepad like pieces of paper and stapled them all together and then just handed them out. And it's got like random, like, in case of this, do this. In case of this, I do this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah. I love that. Follow the emergency pocket plan, which is essentially usually like get to Donnie's house via these routes. Love it. Okay. So that last question, you don't have to give too much detail, but what do you think you all's very first mission was? The very first time you all went out to solve a case?
Like the all of us together? Like this specific group?
Yes.
Alright, who left their house for more than a day?
Yes, you guys, I did talk a little bit about Mrs. Anderson. Or Miss Andrews. I wrote it down. Do you want that to be your first case?
Do we want it to be the first case that we met Layla on, or the first case we all did from the start?
It can be anything you want. So Layla is the latest one, so it can be like her initiation, what's it called? Like when she first started, it could be her first case. That is you guys' case when you did it all together. Which makes sense.
What if there was like a bakery or a donut shop that closed down just for like some minor renovation or something? And we were like, oh no, the bakery's closed. Something must be going on.
Yeah.
And we ended up just breaking in and eating a bunch of pastries.
Mm-hmm.
Like very old pastries.
They for sure had like some weird witch infestation, and we had to make sure that none of the pastries were cursed.
Yeah, the craft just came out, and
right.
So.
And how did that go? I mean, it sounds like...
I mean, it went well for our tummies, but...
It sounds like there's a bit of a theme here that I'm hearing.
We did uncover that the reason they closed was not for minor repairs, but for a health code violation.
Should we all get sick or something?
Probably. But, we brought that injustice to light, and now maybe the bakery won't let us back in.
Now they won't open ever again.
Yeah, I was going to say that probably is what happened.
Yes, we got a bakery closed as our first mission. That is props for me.
Good job, guys.
You guys do, according to what I wrote anyway, you guys are really effective. It's really funny that the way you guys are wanting to build your team is like hilarious. But you do actually kind of probably by mistake actually solve some really interesting mysteries. So, hilarious.
We are the reason that teachers ask you to show your work.
Yeah.
And we would fail every time.
And then I think really quickly, because I forgot to ask this, because the first question is a two-part question, but other than, is there someone that you guys want to be an ally who's an adult? So it could either be like one of your parents, or it can be like just someone in the neighborhood who like does like the mystery club, and they're kind of willing to, vouch for you.
Definitely not the police.
Okay, but what about the retired chief of police?
Yeah.
I think he's a big fan of you guys. Why?
Because we're keeping those youngins on their toes.
I think he also he retired and he's displeased with the current police force. He's like, they could be doing better.
Are they just a bunch of lazy? It's small town, right? They're just a bunch of small town cops, usually chilling. Outside of us, not much happens in town.
Yeah. So the retired police chief is like, these kids do better than you guys.
I love that. Okay. So just a quick recap. The name of this lovely neighborhood we're going to be entering to is called Elm Heights. You all, as the mystery club, you tend to kind of investigate anything weird, anything where something might be missing. I mean, that Mrs. Andrews case was pretty big. She was missing for like a whole day.
Yep. And then that missing dog. That was almost a chupacabra.
Yeah, and then the almost chupacabra. So you guys have investigated some really interesting things. The chief of police is on your side, and you all kind of have a plan if things hit the fan, which is to run to Donnie's house in some fashion. So all of that information is pinned up at the top as I continue to put stuff in the channel. I will be using the channel to put images, maps, and stuff like that, because you don't really need that for kids on bikes, but I did write this scenario to have visual components, mainly because I tend to run games with visual components for people who need visuals. Okay, I think we're ready to get started. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna kind of switch gears and like open up all my stuff, and while we're doing that, let's take 5 minutes to, get some water, get some snacks or something, take a bio break. Thank you all for listening to the Agent Journey podcast. Please make sure to like and subscribe. See you next time.